Okay, so welcome back, guys. This is Wolfwire Studios and another devlog, another day. And just to improvise on the last one, I have fixed my problem that I was facing that was related to the collision of mesh. And if you guys remember, it was really buggy. I mean, I was running forward and I was being pushed backwards and I was being pushed left at times. It was all because of a collision that I narrowed down, and with the help of a friend, and I was just brainstorming the ideas, and I had my eureka moment realizing that it was these optics that were causing the issues. I mean, if you guys remember my weapon blueprint here, this blueprint, all of these meshes were a child blueprint in my weapon mesh, right? So weapon blueprint, sorry. So what was actually happening in my code, I was setting them visible and invisible on this function. Yeah, I was setting them visible and then invisible, but they were existing in the game, right? So they were providing their own collision onto the player and they were invisible. And I was thinking, okay, what is causing the issue? It was the collision. So I went on to each of these attachment blueprints and I disabled their collision, and voila, it was fixed. And other than that, guys, I have added weapon sway both for the arms, like the general camera sway and the weapon sway, and along with that I have added a bit of camera shake, like the head bobbing. So let me just show you guys that in action. So here we are now, and let me just enable FPS. Yeah, and if you guys remember from the last video, I can just click and get the respective scope here, and I can right click. But if you notice carefully, the weapon is moving and my arms are also moving. This is your camera sway and weapon sway. And yeah, guys, this is the weapon sway I was talking about. If I move left and right, as you can see, yeah, as you can see, the weapon twists to left and the right direction. So this is your weapon sway and this is your camera sway. And yeah, that's it. As you can see, the arm is turning like slower than the camera. This is your weapon sway and this is your camera sway, both in action. And if you even look carefully, you can see the head bobbing if I move in front. As you can see, there's just a bit of jitter in the camera. That's the head bobbing. And if I sprint, it's increased. I may decrease the frequency and oscillation of this sprinting head bobbing, but yeah. And you can see it's running fine. I'm not colliding anymore. I'm not getting those bugs and glitches anymore. So yeah, the code works just fine and it is totally perfect right now. As you can see, you can put whatever optic you want and it looks good. And along with that, let me just quickly show you guys the fix I made for ADS here. I use the turn in place code and then I use my aim offset to blend this animation over it, over the bones, basically the spine. And then I use the blend poses by bool so that I can have another separate code for ADS. Just to explain you guys briefly what is happening here, I'm just using the static animation. This is the constant like single frame animation, and I'm using the aim offset with it and then blending it so that if I am doing ADS right now, my player will have a static animation. As you can see, the idle animation is such that the arms are moving, but if I do ADS, the arms are static. See, they are not moving at all. It is because of this code that I created. Now let me just quickly go through over the the sway code. This is for your weapon sway. As you can see, we are just modifying the left hand and the right hand that they have to follow this rotation. And where is this rotation being set? It is being set here in this function, weapon sway. And this weapon sway function is being called here in the event graph. And its weapon sway is very similar to our what was that in camera manager? I guess we had the update camera function, right? If you guys remember, we were updating our camera here in the camera manager using the socket. It is very similar to that. We are just obtaining a particular value. We are checking that are we in ADS mode. If we are, then we want to set this right hand rotation to 0. Basically, we want to cancel out our sway. But if we are not in ADS somehow, then we want to calculate the amount of sway needed. We don't want to sway when we are in that much when we are in ADS, right? We just want our hands to rotate when we are idle. We are not aiming. And for that, we just take the move rotation value and we multiply by a factor. It can be any value. Right now it's 5. And then we are clamping it and making a rotator and adjusting our this variable, this right hand weapon rotation variable, based on that particular interpolation. And where does this value comes from? It comes from our character. Here is our character, as you can see. In the movement code and the lookup code, I just created a variable, and I'm using that variable in weapon sway and camera sway. Simple as that. And that's it. That's the code. We are just getting that variable. We are checking if it is not equal to 0. Then we are adding the head bob and the camera sway. Let me just quickly show you guys how, what else. Yeah, this is your usual camera sway. It's an event. It is being called on tick. Yes, I know it is performance intensive, but that's the way to go. And I'm checking the validity, and then I'm setting the sway offset to 0. Like, you are first of all setting it to 0. You don't want to add up, right? You want to start from 0 once again. So you're setting it to 0, and then you're just interpolating between the existing value and the new value that you want to set. And that's the macro. This is your sway ADS macro and sway idle macro. They are the same, they just have a different clamp value. That is all they have. They're just taking the mouse turn value and the mouse lookup value, and then multiplying it by the intensity. It's basically offsetting the camera. Like, you are moving the camera, but the arms, the mesh and the arms, they are just moving slowly. They are moving at an offset. That is what sway is. And weapon sway is just the weapon rotating on that particular axis, and that's all. Let me just quickly show you guys the code up here. Where is the blueprint? Yeah, this is on the movement, and that's all, guys. Honestly, it's not much. Yeah, one more thing I forgot: head bob. So here, as you can see, it is handle head bob, right? It is just checking if we are sprinting, then we want to use this camera shake blueprint, and if we are not sprinting, then we want to use this camera shake blueprint. And this is the walk camera shake head bob, and this is the sprint camera shake. They both have different values, but they are basically the same. And I'm just switching between them, and that gives us this result. This is the camera sway, sorry, the camera sway, as you can see. And the weapon is rotating, right? It is because of the weapon sway. The right hand bone is rotating, if you can understand that. And yeah, if we walk, we have a bit of head bob, and if we sprint, we have a bit more of head bobbing. And that's all. We can sprint, we can crouch, and ADS. And yeah, like, that's all. Yeah, that's it, guys. That's it in the devlog. And now I guess I'm done with the part one, I should say, or the series one of this devlog. And series two will deal with the shooting mechanics, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, that's it. And the series three of this devlog will have level design. Then I'll be using blockouts, the modeling tool here, this modeling tool. And yeah, that's all, guys. That's it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one. More to come. And yeah, cheers.